Hello, everyone. I'm Ben Grimico from InterNACHI. That's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. And you are attending a live, free online InterNACHI webinar. We do webinars, once or twice a week. They're free and online and open to everyone. So you can be an InterNACHI member or a non-member, and you're welcome to join us. You may be watching this on YouTube, on our YouTube channel or Facebook or something like that. But we do webinars a lot. So go to nachi.org/webinars or use a search field and type in webinar and you'll find our webinar system. I teach a lot of the webinar classes, and those classes are the really boring ones that help you fall asleep at night. And the exciting ones, the really good ones, things that you're gonna use, the information you're gonna use to boost your business is like this one. So we have a special guest. Whenever I have a special guest, we have really good time because we're learning something that boosts our business. And we have Textellent. We have Majeed and Laura from Textellent, and they are a great company that helps home inspectors do something that I was never good at: communicating with my clients and keeping in touch with my real estate agents. You know, real estate agents, it's like, and your past clients, it's like a gold mine. And sometimes I felt like I was just leaving that money on the table because I never knew how to easily communicate and keep in touch. That's the key. Keeping in touch with the people that you are working with is the key. And it's not just email anymore. You have to have, but to be successful in business, you have to have systems in place. So you don't have time to do everything and be involved in everything in every minute detail. But if you have a system in place where it helps you with your business, keeping in communication in a really modern, easy way, innovative way, then I think that might be of interest to you. So we have Majeed and Laura here to talk to us about Textellent. Laura, Majeed, thank you for being here and taking time out of your busy day to teach us home inspectors about texting and your software and your innovative technology. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'll go ahead and kick us off here if we're ready to do that. And we're going to talk about, how you can use the texting and various techniques we're going to share with you to really help you grow and as well as streamline your home inspection business. Like Ben was talking about, all those back and forth questions, keeping up with people, arranging the inspection, etc. We're going to give you some ideas about how that can work really easily. I'm the VP of Marketing here, and Majeed is our CEO and founder. He'll talk shortly. So the agenda we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about challenges that you face in your business. We're going to talk about what we call the 3 R's. So I'll tell you what those 3 R's are in a moment. We'll talk about why texting is really working, especially in today's environment. And we'll talk about these 3 R's in practice. We're going to show you how this actually works so you can get a feeling for it. And we'll talk about pricing because you get a special offer by being an InterNACHI member. So hang on till the end so you can find out what that is. So what we're really going to focus on today is, how do we help you retain your clients? And as Ben was pointing out, keeping in touch with those real estate agents is really critical because they're the ones that are referring most of that business to you. So how do you, make sure you're top of mind with them? How do you support them? How do you streamline the whole appointment process and the communication process with the clients and the real estate agents? How do we help you gain new clients, whether they're homeowners or whether they are real estate agents? So we'll give you some techniques and some ideas for how you do that. And how do you improve your overall, let's call it a brand experience? We realize there's a lot of home inspectors out there, and many times, realtors have to give multiple, or they're supposed to, right? Give multiple people for the client to pick from. You want to stand out amongst your peers. So we're going to give you some ideas about how you can really do that. So let's go to the next slide. So what are these 3 R's I was mentioning? They're really critical for any small business, especially in the professional services kind of realm. So retention. How do you make sure that your clients are coming back to you again and again and really having a great experience so that they want to do that? So 70% of the clients we've seen a number of studies done, they really do want to be able to text you. As Ben was mentioning, emails just aren't making it anymore. And a lot of people just do not want to talk on the phone anymore as well. So if you can really focus on techniques that are going to keep your retention high, that's going to have a big impact. And in fact, Harvard Business Review has done a study not long ago that even a 5% increase in your retention can lead to a 25% increase in profitability. So it's really important to focus on that. The second R, also really important, reviews. People are looking at reviews. 35% of prospects these days look at reviews first before they will do business with you. So it's really important to get reviews and have great reviews. And of course, one of the ways you got to do that is make sure that the customer is satisfied in the first place. So we'll show you some ways that you can do a quick customer satisfaction survey. And the people who say, yes, I loved working with you, those are the ones you want to ask to leave a review for you, of course. And having even a 10 or 20% increase in your reviews, positive reviews, can have a really big impact on your business. And then the last R being referrals. So there was a recent study by BNI that showed that 70% business professionals get their business from referrals. I'm guessing it's even higher in your business. So that's a really key area to focus on. And how do you do that in a natural, simple way where it doesn't feel awkward and you don't have to do it face to face. And texting can be a real bonus in this area. So we'll talk about these in more detail. So why is texting working? Well, I'm sure you're finding it, of course, very effective in your personal life, but you're probably noticing a lot more businesses, especially in the last year and especially since the pandemic, are using texting more and more. And it's because it can be more personal. Less than 1% of text messages are considered spam. Now, when you compare that to email, 90% of messages are considered spam. So yours may not be, but it gets lost in the midst. And in fact, I had to have a home inspection recently, and I missed for almost a week the messages that the guy sent me. He finally called me. I was so grateful because I didn't realize the messages had gone in my spam. So it's very frustrating, and I'm sure a lot of your clients feel the same way. And I was asking him to text me, and he didn't. So that was very frustrating for me. So it's really a very effective communication tool. I know it's one more thing to think about, but you're already on your phone a lot. So it's a very natural kind of extension. And especially with your clients who are real estate agents, it really allows you to develop a much more personal relationship with them. So we'll talk about some techniques here. So what do we mean by texting? We call this business texting. So the idea here is not to give everybody your private number. That's not what we have in mind. What we want you to be able to do is add texting to the business line that you have. So that's a really simple thing. It doesn't have to, it can be a landline, it can be a voice over IP line, it can even be a toll-free number if that's what you use. Costs a little bit more to do this on a toll-free number, but it's a really simple thing to add texting to it. And so what happens now is that means that those messages that go back and forth with the real estate agent are coming from a number that they have in their contact list for you already. So now it feels very personal, it's very timely and relevant, conversational. It allows you to build that relationship in a whole different way than you can over email. So that's what we're going to talk about. And this is an example here on the right of how that conversation might go. And of course, you can, with texting, you can include pictures, documents, links to documents, your logo, whatever might be the way that you can communicate as effectively as possible. The other thing you're going to find is that it actually cuts down in a lot of those long phone calls. So your billable hours are actually protected in this manner as well. Now, this is contrasted to the kind of image on the left-hand side. I'm sure all of you have gotten things like from UPS or Home Depot, these kind of messages where, they're very robotic. There's nothing personal about it. If you respond, you often get an error message, which is extremely aggravating. That is not what we're talking about. So I just want to make sure that we clarify that. So let's talk about this in a little more detail. So how do these R's work in practice? So let's discuss retention and how you can maintain really high customer satisfaction levels amongst your client base. So the idea here is that, you can now communicate a lot more easily with your clients. But one of the things you could even do is you could let people book their own appointments with you. Now, sometimes maybe that's not, something you want to do, but we actually have scheduling built into our system if you choose that package, where you could send a link to your calendar. You've already blocked out your previous appointments, so they only see what's available, and they can pick that time that's convenient for them. And then they'll automatically get a confirmation that that's an email. They can plug it into their calendar. And what's really more effective about this is they get reminders automatically as well. So they can, and you can send them multiple reminders. Maybe one the day before, maybe one the day of. Now that can be effective for whether it's a homeowner or could be effective for a real estate agent. But the idea here is all those back and forth phone calls that I had to go through to set up my appointment, you probably do with a lot of your clients. This can really streamline that. And it's a real professional kind of approach. So that it looks very, it's a good experience for the client. And this will integrate with your personal calendar. So if you're using Google or Outlook or something like that in the office, this can absolutely be tied into that. And so it's completely synchronized. So that's part of one of the things we can do. And then the other thing you can do is now once that appointment has happened, you can have follow-up messages, right? Here's the link to your report. Here's some questions before I finish the report. What is, maybe they need to send you a picture because one of the things you wanted to look at, you weren't able to get a good picture. And then things like throughout the year, you may want to send them information about, local updates in the market, holiday greetings. Again, just keeping your name in front of them throughout the year. These are all really effective techniques for keeping a really high retention rate among your clients. So let's talk about the other 2 R's. So with referrals, again, your business depends on referrals, and it's really awkward to ask somebody over the phone or face-to-face, gee, do you have anybody you could refer to me? But if you routinely and kind of gently send out, these messages that say, I've really enjoyed working with you. Thank you so much for your business. Anybody else that you might refer to me, I would really appreciate. And just, reminding them about that keeps you top of mind, and doing it in a nice, gentle way. It's not awkward at all. And the fact that it's through text, they're going to pay more attention to it. As I mentioned, when you do send out like a market news report or tips about homes, how to maintain this or that, those are things that people will forward on to their colleagues and their friends, and that may generate you business as well. We find that in a lot of industries, that's a very effective technique for getting referrals because they love the information you sent and they're like, gee, this is somebody I would want to work with. Now, the third R, reviews, again, is one of those things that you got, oops, looks like I have one line there that's double dipped there. But the trick here is to, send out a message that says, hey, how was your experience with me? How was your client's experience with me? Please let me know if you have any thoughts or comments. I enjoyed working with you. I'd love to, find out how your experience was with me. If you find out that you've got, a number 5 rating or however you want to structure this kind of message, those are the people that say, my business really depends on reviews. I get a lot of business through that. Would you mind sending me a review? And you can include the link in the text. When you do that, it's much easier for them to click on that and go ahead and leave you a review. Again, I know we all try to do these things through email. Doesn't work terribly well through email. It gets lost and people are like, okay, I'll get to it. But when it's on their phone, it's really easy to take care of. So those are the kinds of things that you can do to really help grow your business. And again, a lot of this is about standing out from your competitors, right? So that they think of you because they're, the real estate agents are hearing from you on a regular basis with these kinds of little, messages. So those are the 3 R's in practice.
Great. Thanks, Laura, for covering the 3 R's in practice. It's a huge deal in any business, if you will, any B2C, even B2B business. And my background is in small businesses. I had a family business with my wife in the accounting and professional services business for over about 11 years. And since then, we have been serving a lot of small businesses in different industries in pretty much all the states in the country, including Alaska and Hawaii, with this platform. Because what we find is business texting just works way better than anything else. And you already know this. Compared to email, and it takes less time too. That's another interesting thing because you're limited to 160 characters. So people are more forgiving about the typos or grammatical mistakes, or just cut to the point and send a message and they appreciate it. So there are a lot of benefits. Then the questions typically that come up is, hey, yeah, I know how to do it on an individual basis, but in the business environment, what are the right ways to think about business texting? I don't want to overdo it and make my recipients feel like, I'm sending them a barrage of messages. At the same time, I want to stay in touch with them in a way that is value added. So like Laura mentioned, providing tips and ideas. You're not just saying, hey, remember me, remember me. You're giving them value. And so they really appreciate that. So these are great ideas, and we have thousands and thousands of small businesses all over the nation really benefiting from these ideas in terms of their existing customers, how to improve retention, how to get more customers using referrals and reviews. We all know that's the lifeblood of any small business. Now, taking it next level in terms of acquiring new customers, I know marketing may or may not be very important for you depending upon how well your current business is, but consider this. You could use to acquire a brand new leads, you could use a technique like this, where you could say, text your business name. Let's say your business name is Inspection Plus to 87,000. This is the technical name for this thing is a short code. It's a very easy to remember. It's like a phone number, but it cannot take voice call. It is just for texting. This is owned by us, and we are able to give you keywords of your choice on that short code. So now you can promote this on your social media website, referral website, your business card, if you have any other kind of marketing channel, you could include this in there, and you will see the benefit of adding this improves the return of investment in that marketing channel. Now, when people text that keyword, like this here, this person is texting it, what they will receive is a response from you using your current local phone number that we text enable. And the response can include a picture, include your name, and mention them reasons why they should be working with you. And then it can ask them, hey, may I ask your name? Now, one of two things can happen. Either they engage and tell you their name, in which case you can have back and forth conversation, set up a time to talk, and hopefully get business. Or the other thing that can happen is they may say, wow, I'm not ready for this level of intimate conversation just yet. Well, in that case, you could put them on a nurture drip campaign, which automatically keeps sending them some things of, again, of value. Day 1, send them this. Day 3, send them this. Day 14, then slowly space it out. And in every one, reasons to work with you, testimonials, your website, any video links, anything you have of, again, tips, value add. And in each one of them, you have an open-ended question saying, hey, is this of important to you? If it is so, when do you want to talk, or do you have any questions? And again, if they engage by responding back, that's when you have back and forth conversation and move the sale forward. So great approach to start acquiring new customers. Now, I realize we're covering a lot of different techniques. The idea is to give you a quick overview of all the possibilities, and then different kind of businesses find different things that are important, and they will go from there. Okay. Now, we talked a lot. We've covered a lot of ground. Let's just see this, how it looks. And one last thing that before we show it here, when we talked about text enabling your phone number, we know that a lot of you are in the field all the time. When the message comes to that number, it can be automatically forwarded to your personal cell phone number, and you can respond from your personal cell phone number without having to install another app and without even revealing your personal number. And it kind of maintains the business conversation separate from your personal conversations. And all of this, the back and forth, is also logged into the system. So when you log in there, you get to see the full audit history, including pictures. Okay.
And Majeed, let me, if I could just interrupt before you do your demonstration. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask your question. Just click the little question feature on your Zoom window, or chat us a question. So feel free to ask questions during the presentation, and then we'll reserve some time at the end of the presentation to take your questions as well. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at how this looks, and we'll in practice. So this is hosted on a secure connection, as you can see here. And the system will talk about, there are 3 different ways of texting that it supports. One is the one-to-one conversational texting. The other one is, we talked about the tips and ideas. So you could have what we call a text blast. Essentially, you can send a group text, but to them, it arrives individually. It's not like when they reply, it goes to other people. It is between you and them, and to them, it feels like you send it personally, even though you might have just done it automatically. For example, when we do events and webinars, we send out this kind of alarm, and that has this message which shows them, this is the time to do this thing, send a message, and it has this first name, which will become, hi, Majeed, hi, Laura, very, very personalized, and it'll have your name. So, and when they respond back, obviously you can have back and forth conversation. So that conversation appears on the dialog screen. And in a very quick second, we'll give you a chance to try it out yourself, because we want you to see this in practice, how it feels. So back and forth conversation is one. And in the back and forth conversation, you can tag different customers. These are my realtor clients. These are my homeowner clients. These are my prospects in the realtor business. These are my prospects or my past homeowner prospects who did not become a client. I mean, you could have different kind of tags, and then you could send them different group messages appropriate for them. And when it comes to more generic thing like tips and ideas, maybe you target them to the homeowners. If it is more about business level discussion with the realtors, then you can target to the realtors, etc. So one-to-one texting, group texting, and the third item is the appointment reminder kind of things that are done automatically. Sending out appointment reminders to maybe 2 days before the appointment, maybe the follow-up that goes after the appointment, and all of that is triggered by our very robust appointment scheduling capability. Laura was mentioning this a couple of minutes ago in terms of it works with all of the leading calendaring systems. And it allows your clients to have, you can have a link like this, bookmeatime.com/maybe Textellent. We use it for our own purpose. In there, you could have different kinds of appointments: home inspection, maybe consultation, maybe initial introduction for a realtor, whatever it is. And they can select that, and it tells you the duration. They can say next, they can book a time, and boom, the appointment is set up.
And for those of you who have larger offices and you have multiple inspectors in the office, you could have multiple calendars supported here. So they could pick, whichever inspector they want to work with. And one of the points I wanted to make about that one-to-one communication, again, if you have office staff, that they can be responding to your clients and the clients will think that's coming right from you. And so it's a very powerful tool. You can be extremely responsive, and you can have other people in the office tied into this.
Now, this dialogue that you have with people that you're contacting, I've got fat thumbs, and my daughters, they use their thumbs, and they're so fast. But I like to type on my computer. Can I have this dialogue back and forth using my computer and a keyboard?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, that's actually,
yeah. I have the same problem, even though, my fingers are skinny, I still just can't type on the phone very well.
Right.
So my messages are a lot better when I do it on the computer.
Great.
That's just one of the aspects of the business texting, right? It needs to be more scalable. You can type faster, and moreover, you can have predefined answers to frequently asked questions. I'm sure you get the same questions over and over again, and you can have them pre-made, and on a click of a button, they can go out, even including a picture. Mm-hmm. You can schedule them to go out immediately, or you can say, well, it's too late right now, I'm texting somebody, maybe it should go out tomorrow morning. All of that, again, will appear to them as if you are sending it personally from your cell phone.
Wow.
And one of the things that some businesses do, who send out people to the field, they'll send a picture of a technician, for example, or in this case, maybe here's the home inspector who will come out and work with you today.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. So if someone is expecting me and my face to show up at the front door, they've already seen me instead of surprising them and trying to explain who I am and I'm from this company. They've already seen my face. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. When somebody's coming, I'm going to somebody's house, it's better for them to already know who's coming. So at this stage, I would invite you all to see this in action. And so you can try it very easily. Please take out your cell phones and text to this number, 87,000, and text just the one-word inspection. We were talking about those keywords, right? So this will get you started on a quick demo. Again, your information will be kept private. We don't do anything bad to your phone numbers. This is just to give you this demo so you can see how this works.
Yeah, we want you to get an understanding of how you could communicate with your clients and why this would maybe help you stand out among your peers.
Nice.
And our team will send you a couple of sample messages that you will be able to send using this technology to your different kinds of clients. So text inspection, uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter, and to 87,000. And you will see a couple of sample messages.
And a lot of times certain carriers will say, is it okay for me to send this message because it's not a regular telephone number? And you just have to say, yes, please send it.
So I have Matt texting me.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
And he's got
has a little logo on it, Textellent.
Right.
Very nice.
Right. So as a home inspector could do that with their logo, etc.
So if I wanted to put that message, text my code, whatever that is, it wouldn't be 87,000 on my website. That's an easy way to start a conversation with a website visitor on my phone.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
And you might even be able to put that on sites like Home Advisor and other places that people, you know, promote their business. Yeah.
You get your own keyword. It could be your business name, and the keyword will be the code is still 87,000. Really easy to remember.
Yeah.
And people can see that, and you can put it on your website. And I'm hearing the chimes on the background as the messages are coming. One more thing you can do on the website, you talk about website, Ben, and one more thing you could do is you could have this little button, and we say text us now. And when people visit websites these days, more often than not, they will visit the websites on their mobile devices.
Right.
In which case, let me show you how our website looks on a mobile device. And I'm just going to refresh it. And notice something at the bottom, a button showed up, text us now. This will only show up if you are on a mobile device. And if they click that button, obviously they can start having a conversation with you right away with texting. So this is very nice when somebody is looking for different options and they stumble upon your website, and before they can think of somebody else, they can already have a way to engage with you. And now there's no reason to look for somebody else.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah, and of course, I think one of the most powerful things is that all the history, the back and forth questions you've had with that client are all maintained. And that's makes it so much easier than using your personal cell phone, for example.
And here you're seeing the example of this conversation. Some of you just send this inspection keyword, and they are getting an auto response. They are getting a couple of sample messages that our team is sending out. In reality, this will not go out in this quick burst, right? This is just a demo, so you know what is happening. But this whole history is maintained here. And this is very useful for me to know what I've done with this person in the past. Also, for each and every message, it will also give me who sent the message. If I have multiple people in my office, their name will show up there. So it maintains the full history. And also the delivery status, it'll say sent or delivered or not. So you know what happened to the message, the timestamp. Very nice to keep this whole audit history.
And if anybody ever wants to stop, all they have to do is type stop, and they'll automatically be pulled out of that system, and they won't get any future texts.
Oh, great point. Great point. That is one of the features that I like. And you can just be assured that if somebody wanted to stop the conversation, they have that ability. The other thing that you mentioned, Majeed, I think you said drip conversations. If someone isn't ready to engage fully right now, maybe they're just looking for a home inspector, they're starting to look at a bank, and they found maybe 1 or 2 houses, but they're not ready to schedule. I love what did you call it? The drip campaign, where you just reserve.
You use it for nurturing the lead, keeping them updated about the information. In fact, we are going to set you up, everybody who texted the keyword, we're going to set you up on a drip campaign. We have this InterNACHI nurture, which will just send you 3 messages over time. And the good thing about drip campaign is that you can say, there's an option. You can say stop as soon as they reply and engage with me, stop this automated nurture, because now I got them, right? I'm talking to them, they're interested. And there you can say day 1, 1 day after they texted, 1 day after I did something, took an action with them. All of this is triggered by a tag. So if I assign a tag, boom, this drip campaign can start. Yep. Send them this message with a picture. Maybe a few days later, you can say maybe 7 days later, space it out as you want, and then have a link to your appointment booking page, or maybe have a link to your video testimonials. Very nice. And a lot of times what we do is we have people we have in the leads, but they have never become our clients. And we are too busy with the existing business to pay attention to those leads. It's very important to keep them warmed up. And then once in a while, somebody will come up saying, yeah, I'm ready to conduct business with you.
Well, I'm really impressed by the user interface. Like on the side, I'm texting, I can see the message in text format only. And I've got a couple buttons to upload with the text. And then you tell me what it's going to actually look like on my mobile device. That's brilliant.
Exactly. The one he's showing you here happens to be one set up for like a realtor that they could use too, because they can use it to keep people informed of new listings and that kind of thing. For sure. And if anybody wants to respond to those texts, we can show you how this back and forth works.
Great.
You want to say something, Ben, like hello or whatever.
That's awesome. Very good.
So, and the other thing you could do, you're seeing phone numbers right now, but in the conversation, once you learn their name, you can just edit contact and put their first name, last name, even maybe assign different tags, and you could have a conversation. Notice that InterNACHI leads was already assigned to you. so that we can trigger the nurture campaign. That was because you send in the keyword. It's very flexible, simple system to use and lightweight. And it will just fit in right into your current process easily.
So is there an online scheduling system that I could embed on my website under a scheduling page, or does that is that only triggered with a text and a link through the text? You know what I mean?
That's a great question, Ben. I'm glad you asked the question, because it's a very common way to use this online scheduling page can be embedded into your current website.
Right.
A lot of our clients just say, put a button saying schedule an appointment, and then this page shows up within their own website. In fact, a lot of times we have clients who say, hey, don't call me, just go to my website and book an appointment. I will call you, and that way you will have my undivided attention.
Right.
So it's a win-win for everybody, and it can be branded for you, your logo, your color scheme, and your availability to synchronize with your calendar. It just fits in nicely within your systems.
Yeah, and a lot of times, since again, this is a really robust piece of our product, and this might be, if they're already using Calendly or something else, they might be able to use this instead. And the nice thing about when they make these appointments is that it's automatically going to remind them about the appointments. So there's none of that phone calling saying, hey, remember I'm coming at 2 o'clock, whatever it might be. Happens automatically.
And Laura, you mentioned, it's nice to say thank you. And sometimes it's just, that one little text saying thank you, but also following up with a request that a lot of home inspectors that I know just simply don't do. They don't ask for a referral, or they don't mention that they're still if you're satisfied with me, tell your friends and family. And I always teach my inspectors, it's okay to ask. You won't get anything if you don't ask. And I think that this system might be a good time to actually pose that question or remind them that, my business rests on referrals.
Yeah, well, and this is an easy way to do it, because it's really awkward to do that face to face, or it's awkward to send a separate, email about this that might get missed. So we find that this is a huge way that people, in fact, we have some people who have had to sort of stop doing it because they got too many referrals. So, I think you'll be amazed but just a gentle ask, and you can change any of the things we're showing you. People can change the messages the way they want them. We'll give you some, samples in here, but of course you can create your own messages in your own words, your own tone, your own images to personalize it all.
And another ask would be maybe from my satisfied clients who want to provide a video testimonial, and they can do it right on their device and text it right back to me using the system.
Sure. I
really like
video
that.
Sometimes have a limitation in terms of the phone. Our system supports video, PDF, all sorts of attachments.
Yes,
a lot of different phone carriers haven't evolved to the level of supporting videos, but pictures are great. And videos uploaded via YouTube or other channels with a link, they work seamlessly without a problem. Another it's a funny story I'll tell you. I mean, I personally met somebody in 2015 at a show in, I believe it was Las Vegas, at a show there. Literally 5.5 years later, they contacted us about last month, and they said, we want to try this out. I'm like, what happened? And they go, you were always sending us something, like we typically send us like something every other month, like holidays or tips or ideas. And I never forgot about you. You always were there. I just was never ready, or too busy or whatever. Now I'm ready. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. 5 years later.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a system in place that works without you micromanaging it. Yep.
Exactly.
So I do see one question that's come in. Somebody's asking, are they able to select different add-on services when they're creating an appointment? Absolutely. Yep. That's what we were showing you, different, a drop-down menu of different services. And then they're also asking how do you accept payments? And in that case, we could provide a link to your payment system, certainly, and you could handle things that way.
Yeah. And one more thing we're looking in the future is also to integrate a payment system where you're not able to book an appointment without having to pay upfront. But that's something that we find that different businesses deal with it differently. So we haven't kind of enforced it just yet. If you find that becomes a very normal usage, that is something we can prioritize. It's a constantly evolving system. All right. In the interest of time, then a little bit about appointments. You could have multiple providers, and each provider can synchronize it with their own calendar. And then when people book an appointment, each of you can have your own video link or whatever you have. Like if you have multiple people in the office, each one of them can have different ones. And depending on which provider the appointment was booked to, the message, the reminder, everything can have the right kind of links that goes out to them, and it's very seamless experience with them.
Yeah. So that gives you a bit of an overview. So you're probably wondering, what does this cost? Everybody always does. And because you are an InterNACHI member, you'll get a 25% discount off of our regular prices. So just to give you a feeling, the way we organize this is based on how many contacts you would have in the database, if you will. And by the way, this is all cloud-based. There isn't anything you download on your computer. But if you're from 1 to 1,000 contacts, you can buy this on a monthly or a yearly basis. Most of our clients buy it on a yearly basis because you do want to keep in touch with your customers, you know, around the clock, around the year. So it's $36.75 a month or $441 for the year. Now, what we think probably makes the most sense for most of you is one that includes the scheduling capability, because of course you're so appointment driven in your business. So that would be $55.50 a month or $666 a year. And then you can see if you have a larger business, you know, how many contacts you have, what the price would be there. And then there are some additional things to think about. One is the number of users. If you have a larger office, we do charge a little bit more for more users. So that's an additional $10 a month. And then there is a 30-day trial period. So you can try it for 30 days. And if for some reason you're not satisfied, you could quit. So for example, you know, we've got Thanksgiving coming up and the holidays. You might even just, you know, want to try sending out a message to your clients, you know, saying happy holidays, and, you know, just see what kind of reactions you get, telling them maybe a little bit about some new services you've added. The only time we charge, so all the back and forth one-to-one messaging, that's completely included in our service. If you do want to do a message blast, or if you do want to take advantage of these drip campaigns we talked about, there are additional messaging fees for those kinds of messages. So, because we know those aren't the kind of things you're going to do all the time, but we want you to have the ability to do that. So if you wanted to send a message to 1,000 people, you know, there would be a little additional charge for that. And when we say SMS, that's a pure text message, or MMS, that's of course if it includes some kind of a picture. And then we have a one-time activation fee. And then if you want to take advantage of that short code that we are demonstrating, you know, the ability to type in the word, your word of your business, Inspection Plus, or whatever it might be, that's an additional $20 a month. And then of course you could promote that on whatever websites you're on, you know, what other social media you use, even on, people put it on their business cards, things like that. So that gives you an overview of what these fees would be.
I know there's a lot of line items here, but let me just distill it down for the most common scenario. First of all, when you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you pay nothing. You don't even have to pay activation fee. Your first 30 days as $0 from out of your pocket. You get a 45-minute onboarding one-to-one training appointment from one of our client success team members. They will situate your account, activate your campaigns, and set you up, and even help you do your first text blast. Laura was mentioning this happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays. We will throw that in at no charge. Or for your very first text blast is on us. And so you get to send it out and see how it, the responses you get. On the 31st day, you get to now decide, or the 30th day, you get to decide whether you want to do monthly or annual. And if you do either one, you get, you know, save some money if you do annual. And that's when the subscription, activation fee will be charged. Okay, that's how that'll work. And most users start out with either Texter or Scheduler with just one user, one phone number. That is sufficient. And for 1,000 tier to just see how this works. And then after a while, you can upgrade it to a different package when you have more contacts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and how do you get started? We have a page set up. InterNACHI also has a page set up of /Textellent, and we have a page set up for InterNACHI. So it's very nice, bidirectional. If you go to the site, textellent.com/InterNACHI, you get to see a little bit of material, the sign up, and and also there's a sample widget. You get to see how, in fact, let me just show this to you, how that will look. And you get to experience a little bit more of a sample messages, and you get to sign up for the free trial. Here we have the partnership page, some examples, some material, some statistics, and here you could send yourself some more sample messages. Oh, we were talking about happy holidays. You can see how that will look. But again, you're not limited to those. You can upload your own pictures. We provide you a lot licensed good quality images, and we even provide you templates. I'm talking about happy holidays. You don't ever have to type that. Just go look at the template, say launch from it, and boom, you're done literally under 2 minutes. Okay? Special offer. And this is a sign up page. The sign up page does have a place for payment, but like I said, nothing is charged to you until your 30 days are done. And then when you hit register on the next page, you will have the familiar screen here to pick your date and time for your own activation call. So as you can see, we eat our own dog food, right? So you get to sign up, then you get to experience the reminder messages, and then you talk to the customer client success manager who will walk you through your activation step by step.
Wow, that seems easy.
Yeah, and the other thing, if we go back to the slide, the other thing we're offering is we've created a mini white paper on best texting practices that you could use in the home inspection business. And so feel free to email us here at InterNACHI@textellent.com, and we will be happy to send that to you. And hopefully that'll give you some additional ideas.
Oh, that's really great. Thank you so much for the discount offer. I love the 30-day free trial and using the actual system itself to see how it works. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're
Laura
welcome.
and Majeed, I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar. Any last words, Laura and Majeed?
Just that I think it's really, you know, again, because there's so many home inspectors out there, right? And of course, this is a really busy time right now because there's so many real estate exchange, sales going on. I think these kind of things, just think about it as a way to set yourself apart from your competition, right? So when they start to see this kind of professionalism coming from your business, you're going to be heads and tails above the other folks. And they're going to think of you more often, especially when they're hearing from you throughout the year. So I really encourage you to give it a try. This is a perfect time to think about it because, again, there's lots of business out there and you want to streamline yours.
And I'll just add this much, having been in a small business for over a decade, I know there's a lot of stuff always to do. There's more things to do than there is time in the day. And I know you look at it like, oh my goodness, this looks nice, but I'm too busy. Your investment of time is literally 45 minutes. So I would request and urge you to not delay this because this will not take you more than 45 minutes to get you up and running in your first campaign. And then you get to see for 30 days how it works. And then you decide, because if you delay it, something else will come up and now you'll have other things to do. So you could go to the website, textellent.com/InterNACHI and get started. And we'd love to see you on the other end.
Wonderful. Well, just like you said before, it's all about providing value. And I think Textellent can certainly do that for my home inspection business. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking time out to give us information about Textellent. And I really appreciate your time. And everybody, thank you so much for attending. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Bye, Laura and Majeed.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.